My best friend destroyed my family, and somehow it saved my life. I never believed betrayal could come from someone who had watched me grow up, but life has a cruel way of teaching you lessons you never asked for. My name is Daniel, and this is the story of how my best friend destroyed my marriage and accidentally helped me become the strongest version of myself. I met Ryan when I was 9 years old. We lived on the same street in a quiet suburb outside Chicago. His family had just moved in, and he was standing in his driveway holding a basketball that looked too big for his skinny arms. I walked over and asked if he wanted to play. That was it. From that day forward, we were inseparable. We rode bikes together until the streetlights came on. We built tree houses. We skipped rocks at the river. We talked about becoming professional athletes, then rock stars, then millionaires. Ryan slept over at my house almost every weekend. My parents treated him like a second son. When his dad left, my mom cooked him dinner. When I broke my arm in middle school, he carried my backpack. When he failed his driving test, I skipped work to sit with him and laugh about it. He wasn't just my best friend, he was my brother. Life moved fast after high school. Ryan went into sales. I studied engineering. We stayed close, even when life pulled us in different directions. I met Emily when I was 26. She worked at a small marketing agency downtown. She had this quiet confidence about her and a laugh that made people turn their heads. Our first date lasted 4 hours. 6 months later, we moved in together. 2 years after that, we were married. Ryan stood next to me as my best man. He gave a speech about brotherhood, loyalty, and how proud he was of the man I'd become. I believed every word. Marriage wasn't perfect, but it was good. Emily and I worked hard. We saved money. We talked about kids. When our daughter Lily was born, I cried in the hospital bathroom because I didn't want anyone to see. Ryan was one of the first people to visit. He held Lily awkwardly and joked about how tiny she was. He brought diapers. He brought flowers. He called Emily his sister. Then life hit us. Hard. The company I worked for downsized. I lost my job with 2 weeks' notice. Emily was still working, but her salary barely covered rent and daycare. I picked up freelance projects. I drove Uber at night. I took whatever work I could find. Some days I barely slept. Ryan knew everything. He came over with beer and pizza when I was stressed. He told me things would get better. He reminded me of how far I'd come. But somewhere in the middle of survival mode, I stopped noticing the small changes. Emily started spending more time on her phone. She stayed late at work more often. Ryan stopped calling as much. When I asked him to hang out, he always seemed busy. I told myself everyone was just overwhelmed. I wanted to believe that. The first real warning sign came on a Thursday night. I got home around 10 p.m. after a long shift driving. Emily was sitting on the couch, staring at nothing. I asked if she was okay. She nodded too quickly. I kissed her forehead. She didn't respond. That night, she turned away from me in bed. Weeks passed. The distance grew. Our conversations became practical. Bills, Lily's schedule, groceries. No laughter, no intimacy. Ryan barely responded to my texts anymore. When he did, his replies were short. Something in my chest felt heavy, but I couldn't name it. One afternoon, my last client canceled. For the first time in months, I had a free evening. I decided to surprise Emily. I picked up Thai food from her favorite place and drove home earlier than usual. As I pulled into our apartment complex, I noticed a familiar silver sedan parked near our building. My stomach tightened. It was Ryan's car. I told myself there had to be an explanation. Maybe he needed help. Maybe Emily asked him to fix something. I grabbed the food and walked upstairs. The hallway was quiet. Our door was unlocked. Inside, I heard laughter. Not just any laughter. Emily's laughter. I stepped into the living room. Ryan was sitting on our couch. Emily was beside him. Her hand rested on his thigh. They didn't notice me at first. Then Ryan looked up, his face drained of color. Emily turned. The food dropped from my hands. Containers burst open on the floor. Pad thai spread across the carpet. No one moved. No one spoke. The silence was louder than any scream. I don't remember leaving the apartment. I don't remember driving. I only remember sitting in my car somewhere, shaking so badly I couldn't start the engine. Later, they told me everything. It had started months earlier. Late-night conversations, complaints about stress, shared loneliness. One emotional boundary crossed, then another, until there were no boundaries left. Ryan said it was a mistake. Emily said she felt invisible. I didn't care. Some things don't have explanations. They have consequences. I moved out the next day. The divorce took 6 months. I saw Lily every weekend. Each goodbye felt like someone tearing a piece out of my chest. Ryan tried to apologize. I blocked his number. Some betrayals don't deserve forgiveness. I spent the first 2 months sleeping on an air mattress in a nearly empty apartment. I ate microwave meals. I stared at walls. Some days I didn't shower. I replayed every memory, wondering how I missed it. I blamed myself for working too much, for not being present, for trusting too easily. One night, I sat on the bathroom floor and seriously considered ending everything. Not because I wanted to die, because I didn't want to hurt anymore. But then Lily called. She just wanted to tell me about a drawing she made at school. Her voice pulled me back. That was the moment everything changed. I realized I had 2 choices: disappear or rebuild. I started small. I cleaned my apartment. I joined a cheap gym. I forced myself to walk outside every day, even when I didn't want to. I found a therapist. I learned how to sit with pain instead of running from it. Slowly, I stopped drinking. I started sleeping. I began reading again. I focused on being fully present when Lily was with me. I learned how to cook. I learned how to forgive myself. 6 months later, I barely recognized the man I used to be. Not because I was happier, because I was stronger. I got a new job. I made new friends. I learned that loneliness doesn't kill you. Avoiding it does. Ryan tried to reach out once more. He sent a long message about regret and missing our friendship. I deleted it. Some bridges stay burned. Today, my life is quieter. I still have scars. I still have trust issues. But I also have peace. And sometimes, late at night, I realize something strange. If Ryan hadn't betrayed me, I might never have learned who I truly was. Sometimes destruction is just transformation in disguise, and sometimes losing everything is exactly what you need to finally find yourself.